Our EOs 128 and 134 delivering on their promise? Are consumers already seeing lower pork prices as an effect of the lower tariff on imported pork?
Uh, on imported pork, based on data submitted by the Department of Agriculture in the Tariff Commission hearing last week, frozen pork, the liempo is at 300 pesos per kilo, and the kasim is 260 to 40. However, when you compare those prices with local hog, medyo ang layo ng gap. The prevailing price of local hog liempo is 370 and kasim is at 350. If you recall, in February when price ceiling was required or was imposed, local liempo was only pegged at 330 pesos per kilo. So to say that the reduction of tariff on imported frozen pork had given consumer an alternative choice to buy pork, well, imported, yes, but the local is still very high. So I think there is still a big room for the local hog industry to align their prices with that of the imported pork. Otherwise, you know, the imported pork traders will continue to import pork within the limitations provided for by the 2EO. But what will happen to the local hog industry? They're so expensive. Consumer will ship to a lower price imported pork. But we don't want that, isn't it? We really wanted this importation more as a stopgap measure really for local hog industry to compete with imports. Hindi pwede yung may iwang ka and then you will ask for a lot of incentive from the government pa sa presyo lang talagang mataas pa rin ang local hog.
But attorney, would you say though that at least these measures already have some mitigating impact when it comes to inflation? I mean, looking at June food inflation data, that's already lower for the month. That's 19% from 22% previously. Would you say that is in a way an impact?
Not meat. I read the report, except meat prices. Meat prices still above 4.1. I think it's about 4.3 or 4.4%.
I think it was actually
it
prices that rose for the month of
yes,
June.
yes. And you know, imported frozen pork in terms of use, it's very selective. It's not really comparable to buying fresh pork, you know, in the market. I mean, consumers would know that, you know. Iba yung you go to the wet market and you buy it per kilo as against going to supermarket and have it chop because it's frozen. Iba, I mean, when it comes to access, I think iba yung frozen, iba yung local. But, you know, this is a challenge to the local hog industry. Be competitive. By competitive, I mean, you compete with the supply available. In other words, and you cannot compete if your price remain at 370 pesos per kilo. It's just high. I mean, and Kasim is at 260.
You mentioned pork prices at the moment is at 350 to 370. What would then be a reasonable price for local pork?
We maintain that an SRP of 270 to 80 for Kasim and 320 for local hog liempo could be a reasonable price for the local hog industry. You know, I forgot to mention, even in the Tariff Commission hearing, the local hog industry said that their farm gate price is 235 pesos. So if you are selling at 370, you're making how much? More than 150 pesos difference. That's a lot. And if your farm gate is only 235, I think you can sell your liempo at say plus 100. You can sell it at 335 and you can be competing with imported pork liempo at 300 pesos.